Chat is open, and so please feel free to introduce yourself in that. And if you want to post links to your LinkedIn profiles or any other places where people can find it, this is a great networking opportunity. And so please do. And if by some chance we're not connected, here is my LinkedIn profile, and please feel free and connect. Joining. All right. 2 more minutes. For those of you that have your cameras turned on, thanks so much for doing it. I really enjoy seeing people's faces as I'm speaking. It can helps me understand if I'm saying things that make sense or don't make sense. And for those of you, and I see a bunch of friendly faces that I've seen before that have been here before, can attest that I like kind of the like thumbs up, thumbs down. Like I don't know what you're saying. Um, I've joked that if you want to flip me a bird, you can do that. Nobody's taken me up on that, but I wouldn't get mad. It would just make me laugh. Not that I want to encourage profane behavior. We get plenty of that in the world without any encouragement, it seems. Right. Great to see everyone again. I only have like 2 screens here of people's cameras, but if you do want to turn on your camera, please do. Otherwise, I'm not going to force you to do it. So I'm not going to like really guilt you. Uh, but I do appreciate it. Um, all right. So good to see you guys here. Thanks so much for joining. Happy whatever today is. I think it's Thursday. This week's kind of been a bit of a blur for me. But I'm excited to chat with you. And I've asked a couple of other folks to also join me who have really inspired me recently. And I want them to tell, their stories a bit, but I kind of want to frame. Again, this is really in the spirit of to help you see kind of what we get to see as MindStudio, at scale from our vantage points. We get to see into, lots of different types of organizations and, in their various stages of adopting AI and their various experiments that they've been doing, what's working, what's not working. And also specifically, as I'm gonna, share here with you, and others will as well, of like, what are they looking for when it comes to talent? Like, well, if you're trying to get a job, there's lots of people online who are, I think rightfully so, um, complaining, I'll say, not in a negative way complaining, but like, kind of sharing that, like, it's really rough out there, right? Like, professionals who never before struggled to get a job, like they went from one job to another job. It's like plenty of jobs. Now all of a sudden, like I'm applying and I'm applying and nobody's calling me back, or I'm interviewing and then like nobody's giving me offers. My social media feed is, goes in bursts, but periodically just like full of that stuff. Um, and so it's super rough out there. On the other hand, all organizations are desperately seeking people. There's just a mismatch of what they want and what people sort of how people approach them. And I want to point that out to you. And again, kind of just in the spirit of sharing and see if you might find that it's valuable to you and it works for you. And again, Pal is here and Lewis are here. And in fact, I'm sure there are more people here that feel free and raise your hand and speak up as well as if you've had these experiences.
Yes, he's very good.
Oops, I'm going to have to mute everybody. And and if you also had experiences where the things that I'm saying are, true or false, like if if there's anything I say where you're like, well, that's not the case, then please speak up because that would be really valuable. Okay. Um, so again, I think I'm guessing everybody knows me because you're here, but just in case you don't, my name is Dmitry. My day job is as CEO of MindStudio. It's an AI platform that, lets people automate business processes, either their own personal workflows or their team's workflows or entire sort of organizational business processes, automate them using AI. And we have over 200,000 of these things that have already been built and deployed in all kinds of organizations, from like individuals using it and obviously SMBs, mid-market, enterprise, and government, right? And so we get to see kind of at scale of like what's happening out there in the world as organizations are desperately trying to refactor themselves. This is why we're seeing a bunch of layoffs, for example, that were sort of surprising. Like even big tech firms laying off hundreds of thousands of people. Like why all of a sudden? They kept hiring and hiring and hiring. Why all of a sudden are they doing it? There's a number of reasons. One is obviously interest rates. Basically, the economy has issues, and so money is expensive. And two is they know what I know, what you're about to know, which is the way that we collectively do work. What I mean by that is like, um, is changing. What I mean by that is that if you look at again, sort of a typical knowledge org, whatever, let's say it's a SaaS company or whatever, you've got kind of executives, and then you've got these like various functions from operations and in HR and sales and marketing and engineering and product and like UX and research and business intelligence, like all these departments, right? And that totally made sense in the world that we all came from. But in this new world where we have access to this new generation of automation tools, these AI powered automation tools, in a world like that, that structure no longer makes sense. And so every organization needs to sort of re architect the way that it operates, all the parts of their organization. Okay. And again, like the more sophisticated orgs already know this, and they've been doing this for a couple of years. And then obviously maybe, medium-sized or smaller businesses that might be not have sort of strategy teams like that that could have helped them see it are now starting to realize that. And so everybody is trying to figure out how am I going to take whatever it is that I do and now make it run better using automation. And the problem is they don't know because they're not experts in that. They're experts in running their business the way that business has always been run. And what they really need is to find experts that do know so that they could ask them to help them figure out how do I transform my organization. And guess what? Those experts are few and far between. And so these organizations are kind of stuck. And so what they are on the lookout for are individuals talent that is new DNA, new, more modern DNA, in the sense that if it's a marketing role that they're trying to fill, what they would prefer to see is not 20 years of marketing experience, but whatever, n number of years of marketing experience and a an interest in, a fascination by, a competence in, obviously the best, in automation of marketing. Not to do marketing the old way, but to do marketing the new way. And or automation of sales development or automation of business intelligence or HR or whatever it is, okay? And so if you are out there and you are, trying to either get an interview or, show up in an interview and start a conversation, I'm suggesting to you that a competitive advantage is to repackage yourself and tell your story from a different angle. Not a story of 20 years of marketing experience, but a story of I uh, I'm interested in, I'm fascinated by, I practice, I'm competent in marketing automation. I want to come into your company and take whatever marketing you're doing and make it run faster, better, smoother, cheaper, whatever. And that if you approach in that way, you have meaningfully better, I was going to say dramatically, but like let's keep it meaningfully, better outcomes than if you continue to sort of package as not leading with this, not leading with sort of the tip of the spear being AI. Um, and so in that light, perhaps I can ask Pao, who's here, hey Pao, to give us like a maybe a 5 minute story on, you know, who you are and what you've been doing, you know, with business school and job search and kind of how things evolved and like in 5 minutes, and then we'll give you more time later too for more. But I just want to kind of frame it and tease people a little bit with like, look what just happened with Pal, and celebrate it too. Okay, so Pal.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Pao. I have a background in over 10 years of tech. Started my career at Google in Mountain View, California, doing a lot of B2B sales. I was at Facebook when it was still called Facebook, a few different startups, doing sales, revenue growth, go to market. And I thought I had a great path. During COVID, I moved to Miami because of the pandemic and got into venture capital and started investing in startups. I ran the Techstars Miami program. So running the accelerators, super exciting, helping all of the founders unlock all of their potential, remove all of the obstacles to their growth. I also built partnerships for 500 startups. So I was really involved in the ecosystem, and Miami was wonderful, but I realized I wanted more and wanted to grow in my career, wanted to develop my skills even further, and really fell in love with this venture capital career path as a life mission. I think it was a culmination of sales, of tech, of developing new ideas, and helping a lot of founders at once, not just selling one product for one company. So I moved to New York last year. I got into NYU Stern to do an MBA. And specifically, I picked Stern because it was a tech-focused MBA. So instead of 2 years, full-time program in 1 year, and I said, okay, I want to use this program to further my technical skills, my financial skills, be the best investor I could be. And I'm not gonna lie, Stern was a valuable experience, but it was not as technical or as future forward as the program was presented to be. So over the summer and these past 4 or 5 months that I've been job searching, even more, around 6 months, I was keeping a spreadsheet of my traditional applications, every role, tracking the status, who I interviewed with, and it was just this slow waiting game of waiting for an email, for an interview, waiting for the next steps, waiting for any kind of feedback, if any, because it's rare to get any. And nothing was working. Nothing was working. I was getting referrals. I know people in the ecosystem. I have introductions to people at companies that I was applying to. And I can attest to the fact that it's been a difficult political and economic climate this past summer. So I can feel the forces of the season. It's also summer. A lot of company leaders are on vacation with their kids. I understand. But a lot of these jobs that say, we're hiring, we want somebody to start right away, I didn't feel any urgency for this conversation to move, for roles and interviews to just proceed. At least give me a no, right? But it was just at a halt. Like no answer, no nothing, no progress in the conversations. I have a running list now. I am at 195 roles that I've applied to. And it was so ambiguous. So, luckily I came across all of the AI, the MindStudio programs. And last week I was so excited. I joined the 2-day AI agent building bootcamp through MindStudio. And that was so eye-opening because we spent the 2 days just really fully immersed into all of the functions. And even just at a high overview from day one, I was like, wow, this is the future, right? I could automate my interview processes, my cover letters, just the examples that Dimitri and his team were showing were already just streamlining parts of my own application process that I was like, like light bulbs were switching off. By the second day, which got a little more technical, um, even more functions, right? Even more applications to make the custom agents to tailor them to different companies I was applying to. And so simultaneously, something happened where I got a dream interview last week, and it was on Monday. So I had to like step away from the boot camp and take the call. And it was like my dream job, the best company I've dreamed of. And I'm not gonna lie, the interview was pretty direct, pretty tough, but all of these situational, hypothetical, how would you go about doing this? How would you filter through the internet to give us the best leads, to give us the best investor data? And of course, my answers were twofold because I can always say, I'll do this manually. This is my strategy in my mind, how I would work through the problem. But second, I would build something to automate it. And so the conversation flowed, everything was fine, but I finished the interview and simultaneously we had the boot camp going for the 2 days. And the boot camp, part of the process is we not only learn to build agents through the training, we're building about 10 of them just in the 2 days alone. But then after, to get the certification, you do have to go and build your own and apply them to any business need, any industry specific context that can serve you. So I thought, like light bulbs are firing. And I'm like, I can take the questions that were covered in the interview and let me build something, not just as part of my training, but I want to send it to this company and tell them, well, let me not just tell you, let me show you what I would do differently. And so I just kind of got to work and started to obsess about how can I put together all the questions that they asked me, right? How would you go about doing this? I was like, there's an agent feature and there's a way to filter the internet so that I could send them a link. My idea was, okay, let me send them a link after the call and say, here's what I did. Here's how I would think about it, but also here's something you can use that's built, version 1.0, it's working, and it's only the beginning of how I would go about solving this problem in your team, right? Then I got even more inspired and I built a second one just to kind of like add sprinkle some magic on top. And I was chatting with Dimitri and he said, yeah, record a loom, right? Like record yourself so that they see you sent them a little a 1 minute video and they get it, right? So yeah, by the end of the week, the agent was really incredible and something that was published. So the company could take it and use it for their own needs. But the bigger aha moment was, wait a minute, this doesn't only serve this one company that I interviewed for. This feature is applicable to so many other companies that I'm interviewing for. And that was like, wait, this is unlimited potential because so many companies either reject you right away or you don't hear anything, or a lot of just the interview form, the application form is asking like, what would you create? Or send us a link to your portfolio, send us a link to tools that you have created. Actually, I just filled out an application that asks for a Loom video showcasing a demo, right? I was like, perfect, I already have my video ready. So this is where the future is heading for applicants, meaning what else about you, right? What have you done and what can you bring to our team that's practical, tangible, solution oriented and it works. So in the end, I didn't get that one job that I built to the agents for, but I was so excited. I started sharing with my friends in the industry to other investors and saying, look what I built. I didn't get selected, but I was so excited because it was a big name. And then actually an investor calls me and says, oh my, two people in the field call me and say, number one, this is amazing. How did you do it? How can I do that for my fund? Right? How can I take those tools and how can we use you to implement something like that for us? We have the same processes, the same goals, really, filtering, finding the best leads, searching data and having clean processes and automating those processes. And then another person calls me and says, this is amazing. I think you would be perfect for my team, right? We're growing, we're running into these same bottlenecks. And so this was all within the span of last week, like Monday through Friday. But there was a whole roller coaster.
You didn't get the job
I
offer for
didn't
which
get the
you
job.
built this, but you got another job offer for a venture fund, the kind of
Yeah,
job that you were seeking. You hadn't gotten any traction in 4 to 6 months prior.
zero.
The only thing that's changed is that now you can lob a video at them or an actual tool and say, check out my ninja skills.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the repositioning, it wasn't working to say I bring 10 years of tech experience. I've been at the big names. I've done this and that. I have a website with my portfolio. None of that. The traditional links were not working until I started getting excited to showcase, look at this 1 minute video with a demo of these tools. And so that started to unlock even more than one job. Now different friends at VC funds are saying, how can I get access to that? How can you do that for us? And so I think there's even a side gig opportunity here to build them for them, right? You're automating the processes in the skill set and the industry that I know and that I love, that I want to be immersed in, but now with a completely different angle. And I'm so grateful. I mean, it wasn't just the MindStudio building and the training, it was then taking it to the whole new level that like I started my job this week. So it was a absolute success story and I'm so excited because I know I'm only scratching the surface with the capacity of functionalities and automations that can be possible. It's pretty incredible.
Indeed, amazing. Thanks for sharing, pal. Yeah, I think I can see on everybody's faces. Obviously, everybody's super excited for you. Awesome story. Keep rocking it. Soon you will realize that I think I told you this when we were talking earlier in the week. You'll realize that this job that you were seeking as a VC, that what you might end up actually being is the new type of VC, and all those other ones that you wanted to work on, they're the dinosaurs right now. And so, they're going to be interviewing with you soon. And you should ask them the right questions, which is show me your portfolio, because I am looking for more help.
Yeah,
Okay. Speaking of four, so thank you so much, pal.
thank you.
And so I'd like to bring another person up on the stage. So again, I think a bunch of you guys have seen me. I can just like yap, 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 and tell you guys. But I just think these stories are just like so much more compelling, and so I want to give airtime to people who I know have just like transformed their their professional lives, and hopefully that inspires you, and you can partner with them, etc. So, Lewis, do you want to tell us the again, kind of short version of your story.
Sure.
5 to 10 minutes. Let's keep it out because I want to leave room also for others. You've got an amazing story. We could take like hours just talking about your story. I've seen this with my own eyes over the last year, maybe. Yeah. And go.
Well, I think Pal's story is a hard act to follow, and I know. Congratulations, Pal! It is an amazing, amazing story, and I will tell you how my story is different, but also similar to Pal's. So my story is different. My story begins in January 2024. I was laid off from a middle management job My experience has been as a senior technical writer, documentation manager for software as a service companies. And most of my experience had been in business process management, managing documentation, writing documentation. And I was laid off in January 2024. And like everyone else, looking for another job, and came upon MindStudio. They were doing lots of webinars. And I joined a webinar and just blown away by what they were doing and what they were building. And so I knew that I had to start learning MindStudio. And so I even had a short stint of time where I was working with MindStudio as a consultant, as a technical writer, helping them with their documentation. But I will tell you that in February 2024, I was completely green with AI. The only thing I could do with AI is spell it. So I was completely green and did not know what I could do with AI. And I was not even ready. And I had to go on a journey, sort of like going through the woods, in that you have to be resilient, and you get those rejections, you get those no answers, you get ghosted in your job hunt. But while I was doing that, I was learning MindStudio. I became certified through a different company that MindStudio used to partner with. I became certified in MindStudio in July 2024. And during that time, I was building agents for anyone who would want me to build agents. I was doing it for free because that experience is valuable to start learning how do you think as an AI consultant? How do you think about what is the problem that they have and how MindStudio can help solve that problem? Because many people do not understand what AI can do, never mind, any kind of tooling. So you bring that expertise with you. So you need to develop that experience to just build agents for anyone who will ask you to help with. So, and I was doing that, and I was building my own community from this company that used to be doing training. I sort of developed my own Slack workspace, and I wanted to have other like-minded people join me. So I was just inviting people to this workspace. And it wasn't until about January, I was in this community, and I was still with the community of this company that was building MindStudio, certifying MindStudio people. And the guy that was running this company, he said, "Wow, Lewis, you are really good, not only at MindStudio, but you are really good at teaching how to build these workflows." And he asked me, "Would you like to teach MindStudio?" Uh, and I said, absolutely. And I don't care if you pay me peanuts, because I wanted the experience and I wanted any opportunity to keep growing in this space. So in January 2025, I started teaching an AI accelerator course that I designed. I built AI agents for the course that would help teach students. Essentially, they would be able to reverse engineer these agents. We would demo them and then go through the session and say, this is how it was built. And just let people kind of like go, oh, wow. So it was a month-long accelerator course, and I did this about 4 or 5 times for this other company. And at one point, the guy who ran this company said, "You know what? You are so good at this. I know someone I should introduce you to. They both have a background in journalism, and this guy, his name is David Cohen, and he started learning MindStudio well before, I think, probably around the same time I did, last year in 2024, and he was using AI in MindStudio specifically at Advanced Local." And as a quick summary, Advanced Local, what they do, I mean, it's a very, very old company, but David's role at Advanced Local is to help empower journalists using MindStudio to do more with less, to automate a lot of the workflow. For as a quick example, suppose that you're a journalist and you're covering Ohio, and you wanted to get the city council minutes for different cities that you are covering. We would build MindStudio agents that would scrape websites, determine when another city council agenda was published, email a summary of that summary to that journalist, and they don't even have to do anything. They get the summary in their email box. It is 99% of the way written for them, and all now they need to do is publish it. So that is a summary of the type of work that we were doing. And I am a MindStudio AI consultant, um, working with David at Advanced Vocal. So, and I've been doing that since, I would say probably about April of this year. And along that way, Dimitri had asked me to become a MindStudio ambassador. And in that, it's been a privilege and an honor to be a MindStudio ambassador. And in that role, I was, promoting MindStudio. And as part of that, a fellow MindStudio ambassador, his name is Claude Jones. He was starting a new company, and his company is called Do It with AI. And he asked me, "Hey, how would you like to become a teacher? And your story is a great story. MindStudio in your sleep. So I want to build a company to help train AI tools, and we're starting with MindStudio, and you are going to be our primary teacher." And I said, absolutely. So I now also am the chief training officer at Do It With AI. And these are the primary roles. I actually am in my studio product platform like at least 6 days a week, because I am a MindStudio ambassador. I'm building AI agents for Advanced Local, and I am teaching MindStudio with Do It With AI. And it's been a lot of fun. So the moral of the story here is keep focused, keep going. It like Dimitri said at the top, it is really challenging right now, this market. The economy is kind of but AI is the way to go. So no matter how much you may be trying to do in your job hunt, keep focused on AI tools, keep learning, and you're going to build that portfolio. And so I wanted to end with this. My story is common to Pal's story in that we both found our roles by accident. It was not through a job application. It was not through, it was a roundabout path. First, I started training with this other company, and then I got a gig in Advanced Local. That is how I did not apply to any of these jobs with a job application. And so your journey may be similar to mine. And I will tell you, I'm someone in my late 50s. So it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still land in a new place. So I'll end there.
Amazing. Yeah. Uh, Continues to be extraordinarily inspiring. All right. Well, do we have any? Well, again, guys, thank you. Like, I've heard these stories. Hearing them again is even better. You gave me even more detail. So thank you so much. I'm certain this was valuable for everyone. Hopefully, everybody connects, with you guys and amongst each other. Like, again, there's safety and value in numbers. If you guys aren't in our Slack community, please let us know, and you should get in there. And we've got more. I'm doing on Saturday, if you guys are free at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm doing a 2-hour free boot camp. And so if you guys want to come, you can just here, I'll send you a link, and you can just register for that, and geek out with me on your Saturday. There are upcoming boot camps if you guys really want to get into it and do the 2-day, like Pao did. And um, you know how in like financial advice, people say like your results may vary, right? 'Cause it just means like I'm not really sure about like, does this shit work or not? I can confidently say here, kind of as Lewis said it, it might be different but the results are the same. The results are that like you have superpowers, you can do things that other people can't possibly do, and the value of that to the world is extreme. And so if you're just like doing it out in the open in public, like Lewis is here, I'll quickly share my screen and and give you again some advice in this way. I'm just going to say, whoops, not Lewis, this is LinkedIn. There you go. First thing, do what Lewis does. Okay. Let me see if I can find you guys here. Okay. Take a look at his profile. Okay. Building AI agents. That's what people want. Listen to what I'm saying. That's what people want. They don't care about if you're marketing or sales. They want you lead with that, building AI agents. If you're building AI agents for sales, say you're building AI agents for sales or marketing, or whatever. It's great. Ted, I see your hand. I'll take you right after that. And if more of you guys want to raise your hands, please feel free and do. So that's awesome. There he is working at Advanced Local. Advanced Local has over 300 MindStudio AI agents that are running. Some were built by David Cohen. Some are built by Lewis. They're building many, many more. They're just getting started. Okay, look at his posts. Look what he posts. He records his screen and he does these short little videos where he just shows himself building an agent. And by the way, Lewis is also like super creative. So I'm constantly obviously loving these things. So go check them out. There's like so much learning just on Lewis's profile. If you just spend your time watching what he makes, you are leveling up. You're gaining superpowers. Okay. And then again, whenever you feel ready, and certainly you'd feel ready after these 2 days, just like Pau did, and she's got her Loom video now, right? Where you can simply record your screen of yourself building these things and then just start doing that. The performance on these things for all of his posts have been dramatically better than anything he's posted before, right? He can tell you about that. And then again, the outreach that you get from people that are looking, as I said, every company is looking for the skill set and they're having a hard time finding it because very few people have it. But you guys either have it or can have it. And so go and flaunt it. Okay, by the way, here's a link to my registration for this free 2 hour this Saturday thing. And we do these also on weekdays, so you guys don't have to come to this. But if you do, this Saturday, I'm going to be geeking out on that. And then again, full boot camps coming up next Thursday and Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. So we've got boot camps. They're 2-day boot camps that are there. You can find links. I think somebody posted. Okay, Ted.
Yeah, just the only question, is there a limit to how many people can attend these, Dimitri? Because I'm working with a bunch of unemployed people, and they need, and I'm not getting the traction I hope. I have a class every 2 weeks I teach, and it's sad that I don't get, we put these things out there and people aren't grabbing onto
Sorry,
them. But
they're not coming. They're not coming to your classes, or
no. I mean,
oh,
when the ones that come, I get like 5-star ratings. But and anyway, the question is, I want to be able to forward this to people. Is there a limit on the class size?
1,000. That's where
1,000. Okay.
Yeah, so there's plenty of room. I just like
Okay.
Macy's. There's
Perfect.
like 100 people so far registered. Like plenty of room. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Tom?
Yeah, thanks. This is for Pal. I'm just curious. So you took the 2 day, and then when you jumped into the interviews, how much did you find the discussion about your experience with AI and your ability to potentially build agents that might suit their needs? How much did that dominate that interview discussion? How quickly did that get surfaced in the discussion? I'm curious to know how much airtime it ended up taking up within an interview. It could be informative to know just how much oxygen in the room that just immediately sucks up and puts a focus on, because it's very
Yeah, good
informative.
question. It didn't even take up that much because they were not
Mm,
asking me about AI. They weren't asking me about my adjacent skills to what the
Hmm.
role was requiring. They were actually drilling me on my own experience. How have you done this in the past? How would you do this for us, right?
Mhm.
Um, Typical kind of structure with the star format, right? What's the situation and how would you go about it?
Mhm.
I was the one that said in the interview, I was like, I'm actually taking a boot camp to further my skills. And then, like I would even say I messed up because they were asking me, really, what models are you using? And I said, MindStudio. What the models question was, I'm using every model, right? MindStudio has every model. But it wasn't even about my like testing my trick
Mhm.
question skill sets to jump into AI. I think after the conversation and after the interview, because you're interviewing them too, like tell me about the role, tell me about the team, how do you all work together? Once I understood the nature of the role and went back into the boot camp, I mean, I signed off for 45 minutes to take this call and went back in and I was like, wait a minute, the boot camp itself, it goes pretty quickly, but it's being recorded. So a lot of pieces I was like, wait, I want to rewatch how that was done. And that was the inspiration. All of the questions in the interview were so laser focused on the nature of filtering for leads, finding the best data, finding the best contacts. They were testing me, like, how well do you know this ecosystem? I live in New
Mhm.
York now. They actually wanted someone in the Bay Area because they needed somebody in the Bay to prove their contacts, right? And to prove the depth of their network. So after the call, I was the one that thought about taking the conversation a step further and emailing them and say, thank you for a great call. I was thinking about our conversation and I built something to show you how I would automate part of the work, not just how I would think about it strategically. But I wouldn't even touch more than like, oh yeah, I'm training or I'm taking a boot camp, I'm getting certified to be better. But then it's like the surprise and delight. Like, let me show you.
That's great, and thank you. That's super helpful. And Dimitri, just it points back to where you started this whole conversation of people are looking for your or they're looking to fill the skills on the need of the role, but they're also looking for, do you have that extra something that they can rely on to advance the role, advance the business. So thank you,
Totally.
Val. That's really helpful.
Yeah, well said, Tom. Louis?
So I was just gonna say, Dimitri didn't ask me to do this, but I have two agents that I would be glad to share as a remix. One is a resume optimization assistant, and another one is a cover letter writing assistant. And you're free to use them. You can customize them, what have you. So I'm about ready to post them here into chat. And so there's two remix links here.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not sure how many of you, like some people I know are already certified. I see you, and some people I've seen before, so you've probably seen, but some of you may not have seen anything about MindStudio. And so you might not even know the what I mean by when I say that these are like superpowers and no mere mortals can compete. And so like having access to agents, especially, crafted by Lewis, that now give you these power tools, uh, that I can't wait for you guys to feel what that means. It's crazy. Okay, thank you, Louis. Vinay?
Hi, Dimitri. Thanks for
Hey.
organizing this. One of the questions I want to know is like when people are sharing their experiences, will it be possible for us to copy that, the flow to understand and, like to modify them?
Sorry, the flow of you
So,
said,
for example, like Louis just said that like he'll be sharing
oh yeah.
his flow charts or like like the agents which he has
Uh-huh.
created, right? So, in case if I want to like understand that agent flow and like modify those, will we be able to copy if we have registered with MindStudio?
I think that's what he's saying. You're sharing the remix links, Louis, or yeah. Yeah, so exactly. So you just need a MindStudio account, and then they're called remix links. You just click on them and they'll make a copy, and you will see that workflow. You can modify it, you can see how he made it, and all of that. Uh-huh.
I hope they
Cool. Thank you.
covered.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Vinay, do you have another question? Or is that still from the last? All right, folks, we got like 10 minutes. So again, happy to so yeah, I invited Pal here, obviously, and Lewis, and I'm glad you guys got to hear from them. There's lots of other people that are experiencing these things out and about. And so these aren't only two data points for you. Like you can count on the fact that the people out there that are potential employers for you or potential customers or whatever, what they want is to find someone that has something special. And the something special I propose is the ability to do this, because this is the next phase of every company and every job function. They all get transformed. They all get either partially automated or completely automated parts of the workflows. And the job of the future is not marketing, it's marketing automation. It's not sales, it's sales automation. It's not ops, it's ops automation. And the cool thing about it is like all of you can learn to do this. This is not something that you need to go to college for, right? It's not something that Lewis has been doing it for over a year, okay? Pal's been doing it for a week, and other people didn't come to our boot camp at all. They just learned on their own. You don't have to come to the boot camp. We got lots of tutorials. We publish like all these things. You go to our YouTube channel, go wild, But as Lewis said to you, like whatever it is you're doing, also do this. This is the investment in your future, no matter who you are. Okay. And so take that seriously. By the way, again, we're around, so if you guys in Sarat, I can take your question here in a second, but feel free, and obviously on an ongoing basis, reach out to me directly, on LinkedIn, for example, if I can help you in any way. Feel free to come to we're constantly doing these free sessions. In 2 hours, you can learn a tremendous amount. Yeah, in 2 hours, we're going to take you from novice to holy shit, I'm a ninja. Now, you might still not be so confident with your sword. And so you might be like, oh, I'm not ready to go show my boss my ninja skills yet. But that's okay. You just got to give yourself a couple hours to practice. And then on Monday, like if you come on Saturday and you spend 2 hours and you do a little bit of practice, on Monday, you can show up if you've got a job and blow everybody's mind and instantly be the rock star of your org, have more opportunities inside the org that same day, Monday. Or if you're looking for a job, start using Lewis's power tools and start doing Pal's approach. Reach out to people. Don't tell them about your 20 years of marketing experience. Say, look at this agent I'm building or built. Or do what Lewis does, start posting them on LinkedIn. They will come to you. Even better. You don't need to reach out to them. They will come to you. Well, in Pal's case, that is also what happened because the people she went to, that didn't work out. But the people that came to her were like, please take my money. Yeah. So do that. Okay. Sarat?
Hi, Dimitri. This is Sira. Thanks for this info session. And I joined the other 2-hour one too. So that was really fun as well. Yeah, really excited about the work that you guys are doing. Just a couple of questions. So you obviously mentioned there's a ton of resources out there on the website. You have some training as well. So I guess the first question is, what would be the main differential between what's there on the website, your academy, your learning academy / the YouTube channels versus the 2-day boot camp?
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, what does the schedule, what if someone can just walk a little bit detail of what the 2-day really looks like? I know you say there are 10 agents that you build. Does everyone sort of build them together? Like some people might be slow, some people might be fast, some
Mhm.
people might have questions, so on and so forth. So how does that experience really look like at the boot camp?
Yeah, let me quickly answer it. I also see Tom's hand raised. So Tom, I'm not sure if that's a question or you want to answer Sarat's question, either one, but uh, let me, sorry, Tom.
No, why don't you go for my comment will probably overlap with some of what she's asking, but it's a little broader than that.
Okay, no worries, yeah, no worries. Yes, let me answer the question. And also, I will send you, so we now have, actually, maybe Danielle, if she's still here with us, can send the link to this new page that we just created, which has a bunch of some of your folks on it. Oh, here it is. I've got it right here. I'm just going to post this. And instead of like me telling you about the boot camp, have these folks right here tell you about the boot camp and kind of see some of their posts about it and all that. But yeah, so in the boot camp, it's a hands-on experience. So the 2-day boot camp is we spend the entire 2 days together. It's Luis and I. By the way, Luis is on honeymoon this week, so that's why we're not having the boot camp. But Luis is going to come back nice and fresh after honeymoon. And next week, we're going to have 2 boot camps, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. Same boot camps. You get to choose which one you attend. By the way, if you want to attend both of them, that's fine too. We'll do that for the same price. And you get to spend 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or later with us as we build things and answer questions, and you build things, and we help you figure out where your things aren't working, and like you share your screen, and so it's this like group learning. Everybody's doing their own projects, but we're all benefiting from each other's struggles. We're there for those full 2 days, and we cover a lot. Now, MindStudio has even more than that. So there's no way for us to cover all of that in 2 days, but you leave in 2 days having like all the fundamentals, all the sort of general overview of like all the other capabilities. You might not be an expert on them yet. Some people sort of get it much faster and they might say, well, I am an expert, and that's cool. You can do that too. Most people aren't going to be an expert on that, but you will be extraordinarily capable. You'll be extraordinarily confident. You will know all of the parts of this, and you will know where you need to spend some more time to focus. You might also find, like, and I've said this just to some friends, sort of casually, that the biggest thing I think that you learn in the boot camps is not actually how to use the product. What we spend a lot of time on as we do this is like to give you the lens to be able to realize, to see the opportunities, so that you can like look at your own workflow and say, oh, I could build this and I could build that and I could build that and not be transformative. You might not know how to build that yet, but you now know that that's buildable. And that's incredible right there. This ability to be able to like look at workflows and say, I know where I can build things to put that on. And again, you might find that you love building these things and they're really easy to do once you grok them. And Lewis clearly loves it because I see in the middle of the night yet another tutorial, and so like I've experienced that other people have done. So you might love it. You might not love it. But it doesn't matter. The fact that you've got the lens is actually the valuable thing, because you can always hire people like Lewis or other people that love it into your org or to work with you to do the things. Shay is another one. Hey, Shay, good to see you. That doesn't sleep, just builds AI agents. And so, but no matter what, you will have a lot of confidence and capabilities in that. But from like is there like some restricted content in the boot camp that you can only get in the boot camp and you can't get it by going and like on your own studying? No. Meaning we get involved and do a bunch of stuff and we help you on blocks, so it saves a lot of time and all of that, but that's like the spirit of it. Different people like to learn in different ways. I have 5 kids, so I kind of get to see this at scale. Some kids really need the teacher and then they excel. Other kids are like, I actually don't want the teacher at all. Like, just give me a book and do it. And then some are in the middle. And so, Shafir?
Thank you. Super.
Yeah. Hey, Dimitri, thanks for this session, and it's really helpful. My question is, this MindStudio it's like any other AI agent building tool. What you come kits from OpenAI or Microsoft or N8N, something like that,
Yeah.
and Lovable. So I just want to know if I get this certified in MindStudio. I want to relate that the opportunity, like what's the market share of MindStudio? So how many is the enterprise grade or it's a consumer based B2B or B2C? And
No worries. Yeah,
would
I
that be
understand your question.
applicable? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one posted in here just now. If people compare us to anything, 9 out of 10 times they compare us to N8N. Okay. OpenAI or Microsoft with their, Copilot
Azure.
things, these are not comparable. We're way above that. This is the comparison. You can see what people say about it. You can watch videos, how people compare us. The best comparison I've seen is like N8N is like Linux and MindStudio is like Windows or Mac. They're all operating systems. How much do you want to futz around with the internals? You love to do that. N8N is wonderful. You don't want to do it. You just want to get stuff done. MindStudio is wonderful. And that's kind of the thing. By the way, guys, I apologize. I do have a hard stop here. But the other one of like, is this enterprise grade? Yes, we have over 200,000 deployed AI agents in all kinds of organizations, including, for example, His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, which is the UK government that uses it in automating recruiting functions. ServiceNow, Advanced Local, who Lewis works for, that's got over 300, New York Times, like many organizations that are enterprises, government, need scale and security and compliance and privacy and all of that. So certainly enterprise ready. And again, kind of the rest you can see. And again, I really apologize that I have to run. Tom, same with your question. But if you guys want more of it, come on Saturday. You can even just jump in and leave. Like, come play with me on Saturday. We'll get into all this. I'll answer all your questions.
I already registered for Saturday. Thank you.
All right, guys. Be well.
Thanks for your
Take care.
time.
Yep, my pleasure.